I'd always want to start with a human approach. I'd be interested to then run it through AI and see what it spat out in terms of like, what elements, what instruments have I not considered? Can you add some in? And just see what it came up with, and then maybe recreate those myself or with humans off the back end, and just see, that's what I love about you and I. I'll start an idea, send it over to you. You'll throw back another version of that in a way that I never would have thought about, tweaking the drum production or adding in a certain keyboard sound, or like you play guitar, I don't play guitar. So that I think
you could use it like that as well. Actually, now that you mention it, I we don't use any AI in creation, so this might seem obvious to people that do. And you could have a sound, like you could write a cool drum beat with some chords. You could then use AI to be like, come up with 5 bass line ideas for this.
Yeah.
Just like, what haven't I thought about for this chord pattern? Give me 5 completely different rhythmically inspired bass lines. And you could be like, wow, that one's actually really cool. I would never have thought to have just stayed on that same note the entire time in that rhythm.
It's never perfect. At what point do you accept what's there? I always used to be really resistant of, sorry, this is a bit of music talk, but the program that we use is Logic Pro X. And within that, they have drum sounds and they have bass sounds, but they kind of come with the package. It's kind of like you could buy the base model of a car. But if you're really into your cars, you'd probably change the lining on the seats and you'd put different alloys and brakes on it, etc. So we then outsource different sounds through different companies that create different sounds and use that in the box. Or we hire musicians to play the bass for us, all those there's so many different ways you can approach it. But ultimately, if it sounds good, sometimes you end up going full circle and back to like exactly what you said. Actually, AI did do a really good job of that bass line and I love how it sounds. I'm just trying to recreate it to sound that good.
Yeah.
Or to sound to recreate what I initially liked about it.
It would never replace the human. That's the thing that's interesting in this version. It's always bouncing off of something the human does, and it always needed the human input to begin with. So there's just no world where I see humans being able to be taken out of it.
No, and I think you could argue this next thing I'm going to say didn't have humans into it for the specific part of the actually no, I really can't think of a circumstance where I'd be happy to remove any people and would be pleasantly surprised, entirely 100% satisfied with the result. What I was going to say was, once you've created that piece of music, I do foresee a world arriving where we can put that piece of music into it and then it spit out all the different pieces of music you would need for all the different touch points, like your app sounds and your there'll be people around the world that are actively working on this.